Yo, what's up? So today we're talking about one of the best value plugins for your video creation needs, the Cinepunch Bundle for Final Cut Pro. With over 10,000 different elements, there is so much to go through. So we're gonna talk about all the different things here. Let's get into it. So I'm not a huge plugins person. I kind of just use Final Cut Pro as it is. I don't like cheesy transitions. I normally like to try and do things in camera. And if there's something that Final Cut Pro can't do, usually I jump over to Apple Motion to stitch that together and then bring it back over into the software. So I was a bit skeptical when the folks over at Cinepunch did reach out to me to check this product out. However, after downloading it and seeing all the things that was included, it is way more worth the value than what is there. So we're gonna go through things like the transitions and glitch effects, which I think would be awesome for any music video creators, as well as any travel vloggers that are stitching together those cinematic style travel vlogs. We're also gonna go over the LUT pack because it has an extensive library of different LUTs. It might be worth it just for the LUTs alone. Then we're gonna go through the different elements because there's a whole bunch of different glam looks, light leaks, lens flares, all that kind of stuff there, Cine Dust that can give you a different cinematic look there. And then lastly, one of the things that people don't talk about enough is that this does come with a sound pack to go along with all the different video creations as well there, so you could create a full cinematic look there with the sounds as well. So let's jump over into Final Cut Pro and take a look at what we have there. It is so much to talk about that it's impossible for me to cover it all in one video, but I'm gonna highlight the things that it is that I like here. All right, so we can see once we have things installed here, we can see the transitions in the transitions panel here. Transistions Pack 5.0 is what you are looking for. And as we can see, it is just a ton of different transitions there. So what we have here a lot is we have some blur backs, and you could just scroll over to see what they look like there. We have chops, clock, exposure blurs, which we're going to go through here, fast wipes, film reels. Let's see here. We have all these different glitch effects. This is what I was talking about here, which I think would be super cool for you different music producers and stuff. So if you come over here, I actually have one of the exposure blurs here just from some shots that I was filming with the Crane 2S. You could see that just transitions into another shot. There's actually a double shot of the same thing there. And then towards the end, we have one of the glitch transitions here as well. And there's a ton of different glitch transitions that you could use here. Way too much for me to go through here. And then the other one that I think would be really cool here are these slides here. So let me just drop this one here on this transition here and just play that all together. So we have the exposure blur, and then we come over here and we have our glitch effect into our other transition. And then I think the swipe there to swipe into a moving shot that's already moving. Again, you just have a ton of different transitions that you could use here to put together to create all kind of different looks there. All right, so next up here, we want to talk about all the different LUTs here. The LUT packs is called the LUTmaster here. So looking here in Final Cut Pro, what I would normally do is come over to my effects panel, and I would take the custom LUT and I would drop it onto my clip. Let's get that onto my timeline there. And if I come into here, you could see, and I come into LUTmaster, you could see there's all these different folders, and in each individual folder, there is this many different LUTs. So we have an FX color profile here. One of the cool things here is that we do have camera profiles here. So I shoot on Sony. One drawback here, and we're gonna mention this in my cons a little bit later, is that all the Sony profiles seem to be a little bit outdated. It is mostly made up of older cameras there. So I'm gonna reach out to the people over at Cinepunch to see if there's an update coming to update for things like the A7S III and some of the new color science, and even in the A7C and the A6400 color science is better than some of the older profiles like on the A6300 and stuff. But you do have your different X-Log profiles here as well. If you shoot like Canon, there are your different Canon cameras in here, as well as Blackmagic is in here as well, up to the 4K, and the Ursa Mini 6K as well. And then if you're a big dog and you're on the Arri Alexas, I don't think you'll be using plugins like this. However, it do have stuff in here, your Red cameras, your Panasonic. Nobody shoots Nikon, just kidding to all the Nikon users out there. But let me go ahead, let me see here. So if I was color grading this clip right here, this clip was shot in S-Log3, I would actually use 2 different LUTs. So first I would want something to put it to Rec 709, because as you can see, it's really flat there. And I just use a LUT here, and that gets me to baseline where I need to get to. I'd probably do some more color correction, but just for example purposes here, we're just going to keep it rolling as quickly as possible. And then let me go ahead and place another LUT on here, and I could show you what some of these look like. So back into the LUTmaster, and let's go to, so as I mentioned, we have all these different FX colors here. Let's see what that looks like. Memories, you see super faded stuff there. We have some vintage looks. We have the Pro Pack there to give you different pro looks there. These blockbuster looks are supposed to give you a filmic type look. My favorite one right here is BBF. You can see what that does here. Let me just toggle that on and off for you. You see it brought in some dope color there. And then my favorite LUT out of all of the LUTmaster pack here is in the film stocks here. We have some old school film emulation type stuff here. Boom, you drop that on there. Look at that look there. So that was the log image there. That's the Rec 709 LUT, and then you drop that on there, and all of a sudden you have this nice looking blues and orange and tealish type look there. Looks super, super, super dope. We have a similar thing here on this clip as well, is that same Eastman color negative film look there that we have on there. I did have to adjust the colors on this one, but you could see it gives it a really nice moody look. Again, LUTs alone might be worth the price tag of this thing here, plus everything else that comes with it. Way too much for me to run through all of them. That's just the highlights of the ones that I really like and really found there. The other cool thing about the LUTs there as well is that you can load the LUTs into your effects folder, and then that way if you come into your effects panel here, you see the LUTmaster, and you can actually preview instead of going through each individual LUT that you normally have to in your folders and then putting it on there to see what you look like. You could actually see what all these different things look like here. They just show up with the different folders in different segments there, so you have to scroll through. However, this I think is a lot easier if you're just previewing what you want to see a LUT look like. You have the different blowouts there, and all these different moody looks that you could get on your footage are now in your effects panel. So I think that's a nice touch there if you're toggling through lots of different LUTs. I know that could get frustrating when it is that you're trying to find a specific look. All right, so now let's take a look at some of the elements and generators that you could use on your footage here. So one of the things that you're gonna see is once you install your generators, those are gonna show up in your generators tab over here with your titles and stuff like that here. And as you can see here, we have a bunch of different things here. So we have a lens grind effects there. Most of these things are to give you some stylized look there. Let's go ahead and drop the LUTpunch onto our footage here. Now, one of the things that you do have to do is come over here into your parameters and turn that logo off. And now we have, you can see it's affecting the image there, and I have it lined up with the sun. And if we want to take the opacity up, or if we want to take it down there to make it a more subtle look, which I would recommend there. And now if we play that back there, we have that LUTpunch coming in there, as well as we're having some of the natural sun flares there. And then there are some sun flares and stuff that you could add to your footage there, as well as we do also have film grains there as well that we could drop onto this footage. So again, we come over here, we turn the logo off, make sure that we have our grain there. Ooh. So that's already a lot. And as you can see here, if we have the, if we wanted to put the grain in a specific place there, we could, but we have the grain over the entire thing. If I toggle that on and off, you can see it gives it a real nice vintage vibe there over your footage. All right, so then in our big packs, we have a bunch of different other elements that we could put here. We have all these anamorphic lens overlays here. We have a 100mm anamorphic lens overlay there, 80, 35, all that stuff there, as well as some light texture overlays there. We also have our Cine Dust here. Let's add the Cine Dust, and all these things can either be in 4K or 8K, so they could work on any timeline. You could scale them up or scale them down there. Let's drop, see what this looks like here. Boom. Drop this onto our footage here, and we need to scale this up a little bit. I'm gonna change the blend mode to add, and boom, now we have the look on this clip. We have the dust you could see coming on there, we have the grain, and then we also have that leak punch there as well. Let me take this one off, and we could put one of these anamorphic flares here on here for you. Just drop that on there. Again, we have to scale this up to fit our clip because this was anamorphic, so it is kind of squeezed. All right, done. Hit my blend mode to add. And then we're gonna drop the opacity down on that there a lot because it's giving a color cast there. But when we drop that on to this here, you could see what that looks like here. So we have the Cine Dust there, we have all those different elements running in there. So there, again, to get a real stylized look there, if you're going for that type of look, specifically, I think this would work really well for music video creators or any travel vloggers and stuff like that. If you're trying to create that dreamy type look here, like something like this on the beach, this would, different clips there would work really well on this. And then lastly, the one last thing that I don't think gets enough attention is the Cinepunch sound pack package here. So in our sound pack here, in our sound packs, we have 3 large folders here. We have the Cinepunch, which just has, look at all these folders. I mean, it's too much to go over here. We have staccato hits, terrestrial sweeps, we have lo-fi downers, we have life forms, we have lasers, we have glitch swipes, glitch detox, all that stuff there, smashes, echo sweeps, way too much for me to go through here. And then there's another folder here that is trailer sponge, which has a lot of those swoops and rises and that maybe you don't even need them. Maybe you can just use your own voice like I am. But there's a lot of that stuff in there for your real cinematic, dramatic type sounds over there. And then lastly, there is a transition sound pack that comes with it as well to match up with all those transitions in the transition bundle that I was talking about there. So as you can see here, we have some zooms, some hits, some swipes. The glitches are really cool. I will play maybe a glitch or two here for you. Drop that onto the timeline. And you can see how that works together there to kind of help sell the glitch. Now obviously you need to play with your levels and all that stuff there, but you have actually dedicated sound packs for your different transitions, again, to take it one next level, to take everything over the top there. So again, this is so many different things. With 10,000 elements there, this video would go on for days if I was to go through every single element to show you here. The last things here is that you do have in your effects, your filmmaker toolkits and stuff like that. So you could actually drop depending on how you want to execute your lens grains or your lens flares there, you can actually drop some of this stuff directly onto the clip. I prefer to use the generators there to use the lens leaks and the grains and all that stuff there. That way you could fine tune a little bit more and I could toggle on and off there, but it's just a matter of how you want to execute it there. But you have all kind of different flexibility to get things done. So overall, the Cinepunch Final Cut Pro bundle with all these different elements, the transitions, the LUTs, the overlays, the anamorphic creams, the sound packs, all that stuff, comes in at just $59, which is a steal in my opinion. The only drawbacks that I find here is that when you're trying to execute all these different things on your timeline, particularly with some of like the overlays, which are video files in 4K and 8K, it can bog down your computer. Sometimes you have to let it just sit there and render it out. Or if you edit with optimized files like I do, or some people use proxy files, you might need to let it create some proxies first, take a little rest there before it is that you're ready to go. However, that's the only drawback. And then the other drawback that I mentioned there was it would be nice if the LUT pack and the camera profiles was updated to match some of the newer camera profiles that we have now, because it's really dated. All the cameras there have like generation 3, 4, and 5 after whatever it is that they have there. But aside from that though, there's still so much value packed into this one package that there's something for everybody there, and it's way more than worth it. This was a sponsored video, but I wouldn't recommend it to you if I didn't think it was worth it there. If you use any type of plugins to create any type of different looks there, there's a lot packed into this thing here. So yeah, if you found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, please go ahead and drop it a like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. I have a slew of Final Cut Pro tutorials coming, so even if you're not into something like this, we could talk about how to get different stuff done in Final Cut Pro, and I will catch you in the next video. Big up yourself. Peace.